This meeting will now come to order. We'll go ahead and get started with open forum. Catherine, did you have something for open forum?
Oh, did you say my name? Sorry.
Yes, I was asking if you had something for open forum.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Hey everybody, I'm back today. Wanted to get some updates on Miss Homecoming, Miss Auburn a little bit first. So nominations for Miss Homecoming and Miss Auburn are going to open up on Thursday. So if you know any student organizations that you're part of, let them know that those open. And then Miss Homecoming will close October 23rd, and Miss Auburn will close November 20th. And then another date to be aware of is campaign registration forms, which are formally known as declarations of intent. For the spring cycle will open the second week of October. So if you're trying for re-election, look out for that. And then I also want to come today because I know that y'all are talking about voiding Title 10 for the election cycle and giving the campaign packet kind of the priority there. So I wanted to kind of share a few updates that we're looking to change in the campaign packet as far as like new COVID rules and all of that. And this isn't an exhaustive list, but wanted to keep y'all a little bit in the loop and just give y'all some ideas of what's going to be happening just because it's going to look a little different this year. So we're going to be moving to a mostly virtual campaign. So what that will look like is we're going to be adhering to all university guidelines about COVID protocols. For example, the concourse set by the university is 3 students to a table, and we're also going to be putting restrictions on voting day to ensure that students are being safe and not coming into contact with too many other students. And then there's going to be no handouts or gimmicks this year because that requires students to kind of come into contact with each other on the concourse as well, so trying to limit that exposure. Also limiting t-shirt amounts is something that we're working on, just because the typical 400 kind of puts a liability on SGA to have that many people associated with SGA at once when we're trying to be safe with COVID protocols. And then we're looking at lowering the budget just because the typical 750 isn't really going to be necessary for a mostly virtual campaign. So working on kind of a number right now, but it's going to be much lower than 750. And then also reviewing the mass media policy to allow a little bit more leniency since it's going to be so heavily on social media, such as allowing TikTok and possibility of like Instagram ads and other things that haven't been allowed in the past, just because we want to give candidates as much as we can for running a pretty much social media campaign. And then in addition, we're looking at doing probably no billboards because this requires lots of students to get together in one area that we can't really control or monitor. And instead having SGA fund concourse banners out by the Haley concourse for each candidate with their logo and kind of information about voting day. And then lastly, since we won't be using a lot of the elections budget for some things that we typically do, we're going to be looking at using it to kind of promote each candidate a lot more this year, because with so many setbacks this year, we want to make sure that we're giving candidates as much as we can from our side. So whether that looks like the SGA Instagram promoting ads or something like that, just kind of using our money and our resources to help candidates out as much as possible. But those are just a few things, not everything we're changing, but wanted to keep y'all a little bit in the loop as y'all vote tonight.
Thank you, Catherine. Would anybody else like to utilize open forum?
Hey everyone, tonight for our Advisors 3-pointers, we have a very special guest, Corey Edwards, Director of Student Involvement, who has years of working with SGA, is going to share a little bit about administrators' expectations of SGA. Corey, in addition to being the Director of Student Involvement, is constantly advocating for y'all behind the scenes and can talk a little bit about what administrators expect when they see SGA. If you just hold it down, Corey. Go.
I think it's on.
administrators and what Auburn administration needs from you all as SGA leaders. So, number one, representing all students. And I know you hear that a lot. That's our role. That's your primary responsibility. But it's easy for us to accomplish that at times. And it's easy to use excuses, COVID, et cetera. We're not out on campus. We're not doing our normal routine. We can't have some of these meetings and town halls and things that we're doing, but I know you all are creative. I was on with cabinet earlier, and they're doing some very creative things and still out having listening sessions and meeting with their peers. If you've got I want to challenge you all to continue to find a way to meet with your peers, to represent them with the different alternate operations, etc. So where does that come from? Like, we are in dire need, no, not dire, we are in need, constant need of feedback. So you hear that a lot. Cabinet mentioned that a lot tonight. They're getting feedback. We're executive sending reports to the provost office. We're asking for game day feedback right now. So that's very important. We have one game. What do we need to do to improve to be ready for game two? We need feedback on a lot of things because administrators are trying to make decisions to prepare for spring, to prepare operations for the university moving forward. And you all are the ones that are experiencing Auburn and some of the changes that are happening. So that is very important. Kudos to all the other work you all are doing. That doesn't mean stop doing that. But that feedback piece, we really need that right now. And need to be reaching as far as we can to get feedback and opinions that don't fall within the circles that you all revolve in or live in at the moment. How do we get that feedback? Freshmen, we just got freshman forum. You know, we don't have freshman representation all the time throughout SGA until we get freshman forum and other entities involved. We really need their feedback. So I joined the parent board. We have a parent board, was on their call on Friday. And one of the consistent themes that we're hearing is, you know, our freshmen weren't able to come to Camp War Eagle. So some of them who have come here from out of state, from across the country, and live off campus. So I'm adding factors in there. There are a lot of different factors, but especially those that live off campus, they haven't found a way to get plugged in. And so how do we reach those students? And how do we use freshman forum and other entities to reach out to those freshmen? And we didn't need to wait until freshman forum, but how do we continue to do that from here out? So I just want to challenge you all to keep thinking how you reach your peers and how we represent as many of them as possible. Through creative ways, continuing to listen sessions. I mentioned this in cabinet earlier. The simple things, I do this all the time. I was downstairs in the Chick-fil-A line today. How do you engage in conversation with your peers in those easy opportunities down at the Chick-fil-A line? That's awkward for some of you, but how do you step out of your comfort zone? I'm a staff member. It still can be awkward for me, but that's a great time for you to get that feedback from others. So representing all students and gathering feedback is important. So to support your initiatives, the things that y'all are working on, you're coming forward with initiatives. How do you back that up with feedback? And so that is important. And then lastly, communication and chain of command, kind of a duo there. Obviously, we emphasize a lot, exec emphasizes that, advisors. Communicating throughout the organization is important. The thing that we need as administrators is a unified voice from SGA. So let's have some great debate in here. Let's have great conversations in our committees. But when messages come from SGA, it's really strong when they're unified. And when the administration is clear and understands what you all want from your ask and what that initiative means and how, and that you have feedback and that you have support from your peers. So I am impressed with a lot of the things that y'all are doing. I'm not here as often, but speaking of communication, I hear from your exec officers, their reports, their meetings. I hear from advisors, and I feel like I'm in this room every week. I get minutes afterwards. The chain of command even works beyond SGA, so that when I'm asked questions by Dr. Woodard, or Senior Vice President, or even Dr. Goose, or General Burgess, which has happened in the last couple of days, I'm able to back up and say yes. Ada Ruth mentioned this in a meeting the other day at President of Cabinet, and I can tell you here's what they're doing in SGA to move that initiative forward, because that actually happened. She said something in a meeting 2 days ago or yesterday, and someone asked me a question about it, and I'm able to back that up because I'm aware of all the efforts that are going on in all the different branches. So kudos to all of you. Thank you for your time, and Lori.
So would anybody else like to utilize open forum? So with that, we'll move into a roll call. Jonathan, are you good? And then now we'll move into the reading and approval of our minutes. We changed a date on the minutes from last week. Other than that, were there any other corrections that needed to be made? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Now we'll move into the reports of our executive officers. The mic malfunction might have been user error.
Sorry, y'all. Oops. Can y'all hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Sorry, it's a 10-mile hike to get up here. Well, hey y'all, we're Eagles. Super excited to be joining y'all after an awesome and successful game day, not just for the students, but our team as well. Okay, no snaps, right? Cool. I was really excited about it, but I guess y'all weren't. So excited to be joining y'all this Monday. Just a quick update about COVID-19. So numbers have continued to stay down, which is incredibly exciting. So the university has made some changes regarding COVID guidelines, one of which being the new mask order about being outside. So Sarah Jane puts this best, but if you're walking by yourself, your mask does not have to be on. If you're walking with a friend, your mask does. So now if you're outside sitting on green space or enjoying lunch by yourself, you don't have to have the mask on, which is really, really nice, and that's a testament to the hard work that our students have been putting in to keep our university safe. Additionally, events can have up to 100 people now. So as you continue to do well, we're going to get to see more and more normalcy, which is incredibly exciting. So please continue wearing masks, continue social distancing, just continue to promote a safe campus environment. Additionally, last week, Dr. Deborah Burks was able to join us on campus. If you're not familiar with who that is, she is one of the several doctors that are working on the White House's task force for the coronavirus response. So she's been touring SEC schools over the last several weeks and was able to join us at Auburn University. It was really cool to sit down with her, and it was positive because she was here because Auburn is doing something right. She's applauding the SEC for continuing to believe in their students and stay open. As we saw, cases be in the several hundreds the first couple weeks, but continuing to believe in students as we saw numbers go down and being committed to staying open. So she's really excited about what the SEC is doing, particularly Auburn. Me and Sarah Jane were able to speak with her about the work that we've been doing to support students with mental health. She was really excited about that effort, and something that she hadn't been seeing as much at a lot of other schools in the same capacity that we were doing. So she was really excited to hear about those efforts with student mental health and all the other awesome efforts that we have going on. So kudos to all of our different teams and all of you who have been supporting that effort. We really greatly appreciate it. We wouldn't do it without you. Also, the first ever virtual Black Alumni Week is this week. So I highly encourage y'all to check out that schedule on the Alumni Association's website. You can register, order yourself a t-shirt, they look really good, and join us for all the various events that we have all throughout the week, because there are a lot that are targeted at students as well. This week is also Beat Week. So right now we are in a competition with Georgia to see who can have the most participants donate to different university projects, whether that's university-wide or college-specific. So I know the College of Human Sciences is doing something, so be on the lookout for different things amongst your schools and start working with your school's councils to help promote those efforts, but also help support the university, because I think we all want to beat Georgia, right? Yes? Okay, perfect. Just making sure. And then last but not least, so as y'all know, Department has been doing a rotating schedule, and have encouraging speakers from all across the university to come and join us every few weeks or so. So next week we will have Dr. Kathy Clayton, who's an associate vice provost for Inclusion University here on our campus. And so we're really excited to have her. We're going to talk about how diversity, equity, and inclusion impacts SGA, not just from the organizational level, but from an individual leader level as well. So really excited to have her and impart her knowledge onto our group, and y'all are more than welcome to join as well. And I'll make sure that y'all get that same information. If anybody has any questions, that is all for me. Thank y'all.
Hey y'all, so starting October 1st is the new fiscal year for Auburn SGA and Auburn as a university. So I'm working with Brett and his team on getting a state of budget trackers out to help aid all of the student organizations, treasurers, and tracking their money throughout this next fiscal year. In addition to that, super looking forward to finally launching the financial literacy program with the provost's office
The second thing is I just wanted to make y'all aware of a really cool feature in a way for students who are living off campus to use their Tiger Card money this semester. So we have a cool partnership with Home Chef, and so you can actually order those Home Chef meals on Grubhub. It's 120 of your Tiger Card dollars, and within 1 week you'll receive an email with the voucher. And so you spend your $120 on Grubhub, and then you are sent a Home Chef voucher within a week of ordering it. And then you can go on Home Chef and use your voucher to order and pick out your meals. So a really cool concept. The third thing is the Liaison Center is working on, that survey is out. If you will please fill that out. It closes, I believe, on October 1st. And they're going to use all of that data for fall academic 2020 feedback for a panel that I will be serving on, and faculty are invited to on October 7th. The next thing is any student who orders a ticket this summer is guaranteed a ticket to the next home football game, which is Arkansas. If you didn't receive an email, try checking on AU Access, go to My Campus, and then view my ticket order. I know that Outlook is down right now, so some students, I think it was just like a glitch in the system. So if you're concerned and you're like, wait, I ordered a ticket package and you had a ticket to the game on Saturday, check, and it should show up there. So no panics. The last thing I have for y'all is I just wanted to see if y'all had any game day feedback. I would love to take it now, so I can make sure that gets to all the right places tomorrow. Does anyone have any big complaints, concerns, or of praise from Saturday? None? You did that, right? Anyone? All good? Okay, well that's it for me. If y'all think of anything.
Wait,
between
Sarah
now and-
Jane, we had one back here.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think we did a really good job. I think that the ability to sit in the blue section without leaving tied down to your seats helped a lot. Like when people would leave during halftime and things like that. So it kind of made the stadium still look cool.
Anything else? Yeah.
I have one thing to say. I know some students were concerned because there was some line at the very beginning for students to get in, almost like a basketball game. But I think once we got in the stadium, everybody felt safe. But I know some people expressed concerns on that.
Yes.
I noticed like some dates needed more like white baskets to put your phones in because it kind of caused some to line, I think.
Perfect. Anything else?
I don't know how you deal with like COVID, but I really like pass out the water bottles before the game.
Yes, I'll check in on that. Anything else? Okay, thank y'all so much, and we're definitely gonna take all the feedback, to make next game day even better. But if y'all can think of anything between now and like tomorrow afternoon, feel free to email it to me. It's SJL0023. So that's it for me. Thanks y'all.
Hey y'all, just a few things this week. Payday volunteer signups and all things payday are going to be at aub.ie/payday. So any questions you have about that, use that website. It's coming up very, very quickly. It's October 14th, so I know we're all looking forward to it. And with the university changing guidelines, we will be able to have a campus green presence for payday. So that's really exciting that we'll be able to have some activities on campus. The Inclusion and Diversity Initiatives team just finished up listening tours with identity-based organizations, and so they are compiling a report that we're going to send out through different areas of SGA to find ways that we can make SGA more equitable. Auburn Answers Week is this week, as I'm sure you guys have seen on SGA social media, so please continue to share that. Normally we'd be on the concourse in the Auburn Answers tent that I just love setting up so much, but we can't do that this year. Please just be sharing on social media so we can drive up submissions. Voter registration drive. So we have one Thursday, and then we have one Monday through Wednesday of next week. So please be pushing that to your friends who may not be registered to vote or need resources on that. And then finally, Mary Kate sent out an email to every department head across campus advocating for their faculty to offer extra credit for proof of voter registration in your courses. So hopefully some of you all have seen that in your courses, but that's something we're working on, so just be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys.
So now we'll move into reports of our colleges, starting with at large. Agriculture.
Doral agriculture. This week in the college of ag, our biggest thing is our career fair this Wednesday. We have a lot of companies there. It's on the same app that a lot of the other colleges are using, like business. So if you go check out some of the companies, if you're interested, go ahead and sign up.
Business.
Alright, your business, so college business this week, business council is now meeting regularly, so they're meeting once a week, I believe it's Monday afternoons right before this time. We're trying to, one effort we've kind of been making is keeping business council filled in on what's going on in the Senate. Specifically, the 2/3 legislation about ticket sizes, that's something that relates to them, so we've been trying to keep them keyed into everything that's going on. One last thing is we got an upcoming webinar series going on with the College of Business called Reshaping Business in 2020. Basically, it's about adapting to coronavirus, as well as where they see the future going.
Catsy.
Bush, Cassie. So this past week, the Industrial Design Program held its 42nd annual design interaction, wherein they hosted 3 professionals in the field who also happen to be Auburn graduates, and that was held in the Goons Performing Arts Center. So far, all the feedback from that has been positive and safe, so that was really encouraging. And we've also received a survey that was conducted with Dan Cassie about the current state of mental health of our constituents and what they've been doing to in that and like the steps they're taking to channel that. So hopefully all of you can use that and go forward. Thank you.
COSAM.
Callahan COSAM. So we've done quite a few things this past week in COSAM. One of them being that we finally started offering our first tours back in person for the college. So that's been pretty awesome. And SGA is planning to have, senators are planning to have a presence in that as we did meet and provide those statements about SGA for all the prospective students. Moreover, and going along with kind of the presentation I believe Tyler gave a week ago, it's a really cool opportunity that COSAM has that we'll let you guys know about. And it's that this summer, the new Assistant Dean of the OIED office within COSAM, Dr. Kimberly Mullen, created a task force for inclusion and diversity with COSAM, the first of its kind. The first of their priorities was to reform the COSAM OIED statement, which has been changed past summer. Moreover, we are actually opening a virtual town hall on September 30th at 3 p.m. And that's where we're going to be discussing a lot of the things they outlined in their strategic plan for the upcoming year, namely just trying to promote equity and diversity within all of COSAM, especially representing some of the underrepresented groups. So if any of you guys have any questions about that or would like to talk to Dr. Mulligan Guy or our Dean, Dr. Giordano, about that initiative, please let me or Gracie or Kimby know.
Education.
Within education. So our school's council is working on editing their constitution, and that should be coming through the Senate board as a future order either next week or the week after.
Engineering.
Law engineering. So we're looking into getting a meeting together with all the senators and schools council just to see how we can best serve the student body right now for our constituents. And on that same note, e-council has been meeting with different student organizations within the College of Engineering. Some events we have coming up. We have Lockheed Martin Day on October 13th, which is really cool. It's not just for engineers. If you're a finance major, business analytics, any college can go to that. And I'd love to introduce our newest senator, Gary Johnson, who is here today.
Forestry and wildlife sciences.
Treadwell, Forestry and Wildlife Sciences, no new report.
Grad school.
In grad school, we had our September colloquium, which we went over a lot of resources available for research for graduate students. We've got our next colloquium Wednesday the 14th at noon, and I'll send out, if anybody's interested in some of these information sessions that we have, what this subject will be. We got a 3-minute thesis competition coming up Tuesday, October 27th. And we've got our graduate student senate meeting Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. And one of the main things we're doing is we've conducted a survey to try to make that body a little more effective, getting information out to the unique student body of the graduate students. And so other than that, no significant issues to report.
Glad to have you back, Brian.
Thank you.
Human Sciences.
May Human Sciences. So Adrian spoke on this earlier, but it's Beat Week for College of Human Sciences. So Auburn versus Georgia is having the Giving Challenge, and so UGA's counterpart, the College of Family and Consumer Science, has challenged us, and so we're having a competition to see who has more spirit and support. And the losing dean will have to wear the opposing college's colors. So that's really what we have going on this week. Also, we're having our first in-person tour of the College of Human Sciences for potential students. So that's really exciting. Just looking forward to more future events and all the upcoming things.
Liberal Arts.
Roy, CLA. So we had our virtual career fair last Thursday, and that went off without a hitch. And then tomorrow we have our GRE prep workshop for grad school applicants, and you can sign up for that on our CLA website.
Nursing.
Nobles Nursing. There's not much to report aside from this past weekend with the football game. The School of Nursing has something called a Tiger Babies breastfeeding support tent, and so we were able to run that for game day, so that was really cool.
Pharmacy. And vet med. All right, so with that, we'll move into reports of our committees, starting with academic affairs.
Engineering. On academic affairs this week, we have our commendation coming through second with final edits, and we're hoping to give out some well-deserved recognition to professors that have worked hard in academia to really save some lives and work towards solutions for COVID-19. Additionally, our 2 polls that we have coming out are still in the hands of Molly
Wait, I think we had one with,
Yeah, I have a question. If this were to be something that got implemented in, let's say, this spring, maybe potentially, what would we do about the seniors who, for in the example on the forgiveness policy, the course would need to be retaken? What would we do if then that got implemented as they're about to receive that degree because it said you could not for degree completion if the degree had been received?
It would probably have to be made only applicable to, like, starting after spring 2021, something like that.
so now we'll move on with our committee reports, budget and finance.
Wagner business. So for me that this week, I know y'all heard all our budget bills last week. Those are gonna be current orders tonight. So we'll have a couple budget bills that are being presented to y'all. I've instructed the committee when they get up here to just kind of read through the amounts. Make sure y'all are all up to date and caught up and remember what those amounts are. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. We'll be happy to talk about it. Next thing is COVID changes. So it was requested by each senators that I do like a little presentation on what we're going to be doing moving forward when COVID changes. Brad and I kind of talked about that and decided we were going to wait at least a week just to make sure we had our plan finalized before we present. But to give a quick rundown of what's going to happen, as Caroline said earlier, the new fiscal year starts on October 1st. At that point, we'll transfer an amount that was requested by each SAP less than what their full amount is into their accounts. Then as we go through the rest of the year, and COVID guidelines continue to loosen up, hopefully, they'll be able to have bigger events which require more money. When that happens and they know they can plan a bigger event, they're going to reach out to their BNF representative. We're going to go through steps that have not been determined yet to make sure that that money is transferred to their account before they need it for the event. So that's a loose guideline of our plan, but once we get a little bit more ironed out, I'll fill you in on the rest. Next up is carryover hearings. As we know more, y'all know more, but just to say one more time, they're going to happen in late October. And then last little update, so we decided we've been meeting at Mondays at 7 a.m. and we officially have moved our meeting time to Fridays at 1 p.m., which is much better. So we're going to be doing that on Zoom. If you ever want to go, feel free to reach out to me and I'll send you a Zoom link. But that's when our meetings will be. So thank you all.
Code of laws.
Solid or, we have a couple things. Does it matter?
Which one first?
Doesn't matter. 28, and then like I got 1085.75, and that's like the common denominator to get it. And then you round up, but then if you get over 28 senators, then like the ones closest to 0.5 get a senator taken away, if that makes sense. So the big changes are the business school now has 6 senators instead of 5, and COSAM still now has 2 instead of 3. And that's what I have. Is there any questions?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Liberal arts. All we have is we're doing a DEI report that I'll talk to you all a little bit about. And so that's going to go out this week, so look in the group me or to email it as well. So just set aside maybe 5-10 minutes to fill that out. We'll get that done and then try to analyze how SGA can be more equitable within Senate as well. So make sure that we all get those emails. Go ahead and fill it out super quick. Senator Chadwell and Senator Harrison will be meeting soon by the Financial Literacy Project, just about making things more equitable, seeing what projects we can pursue financially to help students, as well as we've been looking at DEI week. I know that I've brought that up a couple of times. Alabama just had theirs, so we're looking to see what worked for them, what didn't work for them. So if you see anything that any other university has done that we could probably take on as well, feel free to send that to anyone on our committee. That's about all I have.
Student affairs.
Sadie business. Mine's pretty short this week as well. Just 2 main things going on. First one, I wanted to thank Colin. He got some good feedback during his office hour, his college office hour. Feedback that he got was being able to use your Tiger card potentially for the AED lab. I've been there a couple times and that's super cool, so that's something we're looking into. Second thing as well, I want to thank Riley and everybody else for their feedback over the last couple of weeks. We reached out to Mr. Glenn and Don, and it looks like also talking with Sarah Jane and some others as well. We're going to be able to get kind of like a to-go spot in the village where we're able to kind of have some parking for students for maybe like a 15, 30-minute loading zone type of thing. And so kind of in the talks right now with how many spots, where it's going to be and stuff like that. So excited for that coming up, and appreciate all y'all's feedback.
Exec committee.
This week's business. Hey guys, just some housekeeping stuff for me. Office hours, of course, as you do at 7:30 every Monday. So if you haven't filled this out yet, just go do that because I'll be checking them out this week. Senate exec meets at 4 o'clock on Thursdays. We send out that Zoom information beforehand. Remember, you must attend one per semester. As far as anything else you need from me, please reach out. I'm glad to help in any way. Also, the Senate roster, or SGA roster, it should be in your committee box folder somewhere. It should be like general resources and info. So use that to reach out to constituents or counterparts in SGA and use that to do it. Thank you.
Now we'll move into the reports of our liaisons, and we'll start with student veterans.
Good evening, all. Stuart with Student Veterans. So good news is, for those of you who might have gone to the football game this past weekend, we have temporarily solved the location of the POW chair situation. It's in the front row of the student center. Still working on a permanent location, but it will be there for the remainder of the year. So hopefully we can either keep it there or find a good home for it. Other than that, that's really all I have as far as anything going on. Nothing else to report.
And I do not believe that Bailey or Maya is here. And so with that, we'll move into current orders of business, starting with PSSB 2009-2801, COVID-19 election policy. This bill is brought to you by Senator Sullivan.
Sullivan,
if you, I mean, yeah, I think, just read it.
Due to COVID-19 pandemic and its effect on Auburn University policies and guidelines, students said it will temporarily suspend Title X of the Code of Laws for the 2020 Miss Homecoming elections. The 2020 Miss Homecoming election process will be governed entirely by the Miss Homecoming campaign packet and will be developed by the Executive Director of Elections. The Executive Director of Elections is expected to copy and use portions of Title X that remain relevant during COVID-19 in the campaign packet while removing and replacing when necessary portions that are made irrelevant due to COVID-19. All adjustments must align with COVID-19 university operations.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to pass the bill as written.
Seeing there's a motion, is there any debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. I think we need some more votes. Couple more.
My phone died.
Okay. So we'll do a, can we, okay, if you raise your hand when we vote, you'll raise your hand and say whatever. And so, I'll say it again. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. This bill has passed. PSSB 20092802, Schools Council Budget Change. This bill is brought to you by Senator Mathner.
Mathner, Education. I would like to make a motion to amend this bill by increasing the schools council budget to 150 and decreasing college center budget to 150. And just to elaborate where this value came from, I met with Senator Callahan and a few others this past week, and we felt like this was a really good middle ground to change that value to match the budget's at. And hopefully this will promote the correlation of tickets between the schools council candidates and the senator candidates without the candidates having to worry about the decrease or the difference in the budgets entering their campaigns in any way.
So you'll need to make a motion to amend this bill.
I make a motion to amend this bill.
Is there any debate on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of making the proposed amendment, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. The ayes have it and the amendment is made.
I would now like to make a motion to pass this bill as written.
Second.
Is there any debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote to pass this bill as written. All in favor, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. Couple more. The ayes have it and the bill is passed. PSSB 20092803, Student Governance Final Budget Request. This bill is brought to you by Senator Christian
Christian business.
and Beatty.
It is so good to see y'all tonight. Oh my goodness. Oh, like I promise I will not take as long as I did last time, but I would like to say, we need to get some more smiles up in here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we were elected by the good people of Auburn University to serve and lead, and I think we should smile
Is there any debate?
Where do you, where does the office expenses come from? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure can. So which, which budget
Just
are you talking
in
about?
general, like where do the office expenses, where does the money allocated to?
So from what I understand, that goes into just behind the scenes executive stuff, like I've been involved in school and things like that.
And so they just gave that amount by looking at how much they used last year and kind of adapting it to that.
Is there any further debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. The ayes have it and this bill has passed. PSSB 2009-2804, Student Media Final Budget Request. This bill is brought to you by Senator Levine.
We do need addition to, with student media, we got $220,876 total dollars. From student media right here, you can see on the screen, quick breakdown. Student stipends and workers, $38,040. Office expenses, $31,700, and programs, $151,136. With that, I make a motion to pass this bill as written.
Is there any debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no and click the red X. Couple more votes. With that, the ayes have it and this bill has passed. PSSB 2009-2805, Service Programs Final Budget Request. This bill is brought to you by Senator O'Brien.
So Brian, engineering. So I work with the service programs budget, and we are asking for the allocation of $7,038.08 for the 2020-2021 fiscal year, and therefore a motion to pass this bill first.
Seeing there's a second, is there any debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. Need a couple more votes. The ayes have it and this bill has passed. PSSB 2009-2806, Emerge Final Budget Request. This bill is brought to you by Senator Callahan.
Callahan and COSAM. So I actually, like I said last week, I work with Kat, who's not with us today in person. She's on there virtually. And we work together to create the Emerge budget for this upcoming fiscal year. As you can see, undergraduate stipends, as well as departmental operations, for both office expenses and programs. And just a little bit of clarity on Ward's question earlier, but for me at least, for those office expenses, I mean, that looks like for all the promotional items, and many of the things given away both in those Emerge programs, in the meeting as well for you guys who have been part of Emerge, they sometimes come with materials. Those are included in those expenses, and then programs, basically covers both Spark, Emerge, leadership, as well as the retreats, and the leadership programs. So now I'm motion to pass this bill as written.
Seeing there's a second, is there any debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. Waiting on a couple more. With that, the ayes have it and this bill has passed. 2009-28, PSSB 2009-2807, Programming Final Budget Request. This bill is brought to you by Senator Hess.
At large, our total value of $523,360.99 is the sum of three categories listed below. Undergraduate student stipends, which amount to $11,770. Departmental operations and programs, which is $503,090.99, and then departmental operations and office expenses are $8,500. I motion to pass this bill as written.
Seeing there's a second, is there any debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. With that, the ayes have it, and this bill has passed. PSSB 2009-2808, Student Organization's Final Budget Request. This bill is brought to you by Senator Nobles.
Nobles Nursing, I ask for the approval of the following: the allocation of $199,368 to the student activity portfolio for the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget. And with that, I motion to pass this bill as written.
Seeing there's a second, is there any further debate? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. With that, the ayes have it, and this bill has passed. So we've been kind of lolling through these votes, so this is the last one. I want it to be enthusiastic. PSSB 2009-2809, Student Involvement Administrative Final Budget Request.
So we're going to be enthusiastic this time. We're looking at the student involvement administrative final budget. So going over the numbers one more time, it's $213,097,000.42. This gets to various group of different things: undergraduate wages, office expenses, programs. And a quick answer to some of the questions earlier about office expenses, what that are. One other thing is technology, like the computer leases. That's a big thing that they don't really get to choose how much it costs. They just tell them how much it costs in a day. Every now and then there's increases there. So that could have been what happened earlier. But anyways, after motion passes bill as written.
Seeing there's a second, is there any further debate? Seeing none, we'll now move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. Aye. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. The ayes have it, and this bill has passed. So that is it for current orders of business tonight, and now we'll move into future orders of business, starting with PSSB 2010-0501, Miss Homecoming Schedule 2020. This bill is brought to you by Senator Sullivan. PSSB 2010-0502, SGA and Miss Auburn's Schedule 2020. This bill is brought to you by Senator Sullivan.
Sullivan at large, pretty much the same thing, just kind of stating the dates.
Can I just ask a time, or a question about the time? So I just feel like 4:45 is such an interesting time. Is that specifically for, because I know in the second we won't
So the reason that it's at 4:45 instead of something like 11:15 59 is just so we're not encouraging people to stay up late really and to be working on stuff outside of school that late and promoting healthy habits. And so that's why it's usually a little early of a deadline.
I can speak to that as well. 4:45 is when the Auburn workday ends, and so we try to close applications at that time because past that we can't guarantee there's someone that can answer the phone in student involvement should someone call with a question.
We're also trying to promote healthy habits. All right. PSSB 2010-05-03, reallocation of chairperson of Student Ticketing Appeals Committee.
So again, at large, so basically when I was doing our total timeline, I noticed that there was a little, it's just a code correction. The executive vice president of programs no longer exists, RMP, and so now this role has been taken over by the executive vice president of initiatives, and so basically they're just the head of the student ticket appeals committee. Did you have any questions?
So that's it for future orders, and now we'll move into announcements. I know we already had, Corey gave Pearson's advisor announcements tonight, but I'll just touch on a couple quick things. Just going off of what Corey said earlier with feedback, at the beginning of the year we harped on feedback and how important it was to different pieces of legislation, and I'm very encouraged to hear that like all of our committees are wanting to send out polls, but I also want to encourage y'all to find other ways to garner feedback because sometimes just students can get survey fatigue and poll fatigue sometimes. And so while polls are an awesome way to gather feedback, there are other ways to do that too, whether that's, as Corey said, talking to somebody in a food line, or if you're in the library and somebody's on one of the lower levels of floors, make sure they're not taking a test or in a class or anything, maybe just asking them about their experience, introducing yourself to them. That way they know SGA is going out and is reaching out to them rather than just having our meetings, not moving out of our little silo, and really like going out around campus to do these type of things. And so that's really all I got, but I was planning on talking about that, and Corey hit the nail on the head for me, so don't have to harp on that too much. Pearson, did you have anything else? Jamie, did you have anything?
I do. Can y'all hear me okay? If I shout this? Okay, cool. Your committee chair should be reaching out to you this week if they haven't already about the Robert's Rules refresher that I'd like to host. So please give that feedback to them, or if you have questions about what that looks like, please give that to me. If you're at a point where you're like, I don't even know what I know, that's okay. So just come to me if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to walk you through it. And we're going to make sure that each committee gets what they need. Thank you.
Also, another thing I just want to let everybody know, I've also wanted to start doing one-on-ones with everybody, and I've been able to meet with 4 people so far. And so I encourage you, please reach out to me and set up a time, because I would just love to meet with everybody and just get to talk to you on not revolving Senate. And I'll buy you some coffee or something. Mary Kate and I had some fun this morning at Ross House. So just please reach out to me anytime with anything. It doesn't have to be about Senate at all. And so just encourage y'all to do that. And with that, if anybody doesn't have anything else, we'll adjourn this meeting.